So things that you will need, just a brush for your daughter's hair. A rat tail comb works really well because you can use the end of it to part.
Make sure there's no tangles.
A big hair tie.
And then
a couple of these little plastic hair ties.
Start with
clear.
a small
Sometimes they come
section
in different rainbow colors. It
of
doesn't
hair.
matter if they're rainbow colored or not because you won't be able to see it in their hair once we're done. I like to use water to help with some flyaway hairs before I spray it.
Put it into
any type of hairspray or gel.
3
You
sections.
need their bow as well as the white bobby
To
pins
start the
that we
French
sent
braid.
in the makeup kit. So to start off with,
Reaching
pick
over.
either side that your daughter tends to part her hair on. It doesn't matter whether your braid goes right or left, but section off
and over.
from the part over to a side.
After
you may
the
want to go a
first
little
two,
farther than the regular part
start
so that
adding in
more of the braid will
a
show
little bit
on
more
top
hair each
once
time.
I've separated out the hair, what I tend to do is take the rest of the hair and pull it back into just a loose ponytail so that it doesn't get in the way. So once I have my section of hair, I take my comb.
If you see little flyaways right now, it's okay. We're
Make
going to
sure
spray
there's
those
no
down before we go
And
any
then
farther. Just try to make it
Start with a
as
small section
secure
of
as
hair.
possible. Put it into 3 sections to start the French braid. Reaching over and over. After the first 2, start adding in a little bit more hair each time. If you see little flyaways right now, it's okay. We're going to
Once
spray
you
those
have
down.
used all of the hair
Before
that
we
you
go any
have set
farther.
aside for the
Just try to make it
braid.
as secure as possible. Then you can just finish the rest of the braid straight down. Now, I don't always go all the way down. You don't have to do the entire braid all the way down to the end, but I usually
Once you
try to
have
go a
used
good chunk of
all
the
of
way
the
so
hair
that it's
that you have
easier
set aside
to
for
work
the
with
braid.
when we have to add it to the ponytail. Then you can just make sure that it's
finish
kind of long enough. The rest of the braid.
And then I
straight
take one
down.
of the clear hair ties and put it on the end.
Now, I don't always go all the way down. You don't have to do the entire braid all the way down to the end, but I usually try to go a good
Before
chunk
I
of the
start
way
trying
so
to
that
make
it's
the
easier
ponytail
to work with when we have to add it to the ponytail.
I spray back
So you make sure that it's kind of long enough.
the flyaways.
And then I
across the
take one of the
forehead
clear
hair ties
in the braid.
and put it on the end. Before I start trying to make the ponytail,
My head was mad.
put the
I
braid
spray
aside,
back
and then I make a high ponytail
flyaways
with the
across
rest
the
of the
forehead.
hair. The nice thing about the braid
And in the
is
braid.
you really have an idea of where to put the high ponytail because it will go right at the top where the braid ends and the rest of the loose hair began. So you kind of have a very
Good visual
Put the braid
of
aside,
where to put it.
and then I make a high ponytail with the rest of the hair. The nice thing about the braid is you really have an idea of where to put the high ponytail because it will go right
Juliana
at the
has
top
very fine
where
hair,
the braid
so I
ends and
end
the
up
rest of the
using
loose
more
hair
water
began.
just
So you
to
kind of have a very
good visual of where to put
spray
it.
some of the flyaways away. Juliana has very fine
Wait,
hair, so I,
I
end up
literally
using
said
more
that
water
you got me
to-
watered. Sorry, y'all.
spray some of the flyaways away.
Oh, it's dripping down my neck.
So I comb it up. So that it's all into the high ponytail and all the flyaways are in. I usually use the comb to do this for Juliana's hair, but if your daughter's hair is too thick, a brush will work as well. For the few that we have on the team who do not have hair long enough to go into a high ponytail, you would still do the braid and then take the half sides from right about the top of the ear to a high ponytail with half up, and then continue with adding the braid in, as I'll explain in a minute. So I have it up into a high pony. You do want to make it very tight so that it does not come out halfway through the day. You may want to add clips in the back to help support, but it is not required. Have the high pony up, and you have the braid. You take the braid and you wrap it around to the back of the ponytail. You don't want it in the front of the ponytail because that's where the bow has to sit. So you want to wrap it around towards the back of the ponytail holder, and then take another one of the clear rubber bands and just put it over top of everything. It will probably only go once, but if you can figure out how to get it to go twice, that would be great. I cannot. So at this point, you may want to spray again to get this hairspray, to all of the little flyaways around the ends, around the ear. If your daughter has curly hair, you're going to want to straighten her hair before you do this because it will be difficult to straighten the ponytail afterwards. So you may have to straighten the hair first before you put in the braid and pull up the ponytail. At this point, I usually take this ponytail holder out. It is no longer needed as that will hold everything in for the braid. We take our bow. The bow will sit up on the top of their head between the ponytail holder and the braid. This you should be able to wrap around at least twice, if not 3 times. You want to make sure that the rubber band is down so that the bow will sit up straight once we bobby pin it in. Now, before we bobby pin anything, we have to deal with the back of the hair. You want to make sure Juliana has straight hair to begin with, but you can see there's a little bit of waves, a little bit of curl to it. Not much. For the most part, it's straight, but we want to still iron it straight. So I have the flat iron, and I just run it over in small sections to iron out any waves that could still be in there, or if your daughter's hair is curly, any waves that came back while you were pulling the hair up. The nice part this year is with our uniforms, you can put the uniform on after hair and makeup. You don't have to have them on before because nothing goes over their head.
So once we have the hair straightened, now we make it puffy to fill out the inside of the bow. You know what you're saying?
That's exactly what seniors is doing.
Yeah, and so are youth. All three of us. So, take part of the pony, tease the underside of it. I usually just use the same comb, but you can use a teasing brush or you can use a teasing comb. Just taking little sections of the hair and teasing the underside of it. So at first it's going to look a little scary. Sometimes when I'm done, I go back and re-tease some of the top to make it a little bit more puffy, so that it really fills in the area between the bow. You can even, to get more added height, after you tease it, spray little bits. Once you finish that, you just kind of take your comb and smooth it. You don't want to comb through it too tight because then you'll get rid of everything that you just teased to make puffy. But then you kind of straighten it, smooth out the top. It's also the reason why you do it on the underside, so that you don't have the teasing on the top. So then you have some volume to the ponytail. Lastly, the bobby pins. We had to have white bobby pins this year because the bottom of our bow is white. Try to keep track of them. I know we only gave you a few. Try to keep track of them, but we also know that they will get lost, and we will have more for later in the season. You want the bow to sit straight on their head. Yes, they will scream and tell you that it hurts. Do it anyway. One on each side, at least. If you feel the need for two, go for it. But then you have hair with the braid and the bow and the poof in the back.